Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever. This is a match, best of 3 series from Group B. We got Nexus in the purple, ZLO in the green, and the map is Arcane. This is the first map of the best of 3. Both players choosing Cybran. Quite a normal faction to pick on this map, it seems, since it's gotten a lot of play in the biggest tournaments recently. For some reason, I mean, you know, it's a fine map. Don't think anyone thinks it's an amazing map, but you know, it has enough, provides enough options. It has enough complexity to let people really show who's better. Quite spam heavy though, which is why we end up with Cybrans here most often. I think also UEF, quite a good faction here once you get to the T2 stage. So let's see the openings. ZLO first land, second land, third land, land. Nexus, second land, third land, fourth air. So on this map we can see quite a bit of reclaim. Some rocks along here, all around this mountain. Down here we have some larger rocks, smaller ones, all along here to the 4th expansion, or maybe it's the 4th. The furthest expansion with 4 mexes is really what's on in my head. Up here we have probably one of the most important areas of the map, where we have cluster of reclaim here and here, as well as more along the mountain, and of course mirrored on the other side. So generally the ACUs are moving to these locations. Often they move vertically, but you can also move horizontally. Nexus moving up. He has his 4 factories done from his initial build order. ZLO, we can see, is actually already behind in terms of just the speed in getting his initial factories up. And that's a big deal. It's perhaps a very, well, definitely a very important factor that people should be looking at when they're examining their builds. Like, if you can actually get up your factories faster in the first 3, 4, 5 minutes, if you have a factory lead in a 1v1 game, that's probably just about, I mean, if you had to pick one measure, you'd probably go for that on most maps. That would be the measure you take to judge your opening. In land maps, I'd say, in 1v1. And so by that measure, Nexus is ahead. And of course you have to, you know, be able to actually produce from the factories, not just be stalling mass or power, of course, you know. That's sort of implicit, I guess. Nexus with the stealth mole, or cloaked mole, sorry. You can see there's the cloak graphic on him. From Black Ops, actually. That mod. I don't know why he has it turned on, because it does drain 5 energy. It's quite expensive. I was thinking about making it cheaper in a balance patch. Oh, how is this? There's a little quite lucky here that this engineer is alive. He shouldn't really be alive. Also, this engineer looks like he'll also survive, because Nexus has no scout anymore. It just got killed. The cloaked mole got killed. He doesn't know that this guy's here. This guy's gonna run away, hopefully hide. This guy just got away for free. I don't know. Guess fear of the ACU driving the Mantis away, but it looks clearly Nexus has more units on this side. He's just spamming all of his units to the left. ACU to this position. Gets a factory up quickly with the ACU, and this is quite secure. I mean, this guy is completely undefended, but we got a dodge here. Very important to dodge that bomber. Although saying that, there is actually quickly engineers moving across here to grab this reclaim. That's quite good. And you can see if he wasn't able to dodge, or perhaps he didn't see the bomber coming and he got killed, then he has, you know, extra engineers so that he's not extremely slow on the expansion. Meanwhile, I mean, if Nexus lost the engineer to a bomber, it might slow him down quite a bit because his factories are far away. So that's quite nice. It's good to have these sort of fallbacks. You can't always, you assume, you know, you have to think, what will happen if I do get raided? Will it absolutely ruin my day? And then, well, then I probably need to do something a little different, because you're going to get raided sometimes. Finally, Nexus finds that these mexes have actually been built already. Takes out the engineer, the radar, and the 2 mexes, and continues raiding. Attacking this position. ZLO now forced to send units on this side for perhaps the first time. ZLO has sent many of his units here and hasn't gotten half as much done as Nexus has by the looks of it. Nexus here just making a lot of T1 land. Oh, he's actually going T2 land, in fact, quarter of the way there. And making a T2 mex. That's quite greedy on this map, honestly. It's not usual to be moving up the techs so quickly and ecoing so quickly, even though there are a lot of resources on the map. A lot of the time you'll see people just go very heavy into the spam and use that to support their ACU pushing forward, possibly destroying this expansion. Quite often happens. And it looks really good for Nexus already. You can see ZLO's ACU is more passive. He has less unit support and seems to just have less units in general. We look at this position, you can see there's a PD up, engineers taking some reclaims. ZLO is finally moving up, moving in this direction. Doesn't have anything planned here, just probably will be moving to take the mass. And as soon as that happens, Nexus moves in behind the commander to raid the expansion and at least be annoying. He may also do some damage. On this side, we lost an engineer that was almost finished this factory. PD goes up in a good position, and these engineers can be sent. I mean, there's a bit of a mass donation, perhaps. Not that much damage done. The factory can be finished. Yeah, so this is what I mean by being annoying. All the units that were with the commander are sent back to kill just a few mantis. And this kind of thing buys time, and you know, with time, Nexus can make mexes and superior units in the form of T2 land. He's making hoplites right now. Time is what you need to do those things, as well as, you know, some mass. Time is an important resource though. Not just the economic resources. T2 mex from ZLO doesn't want to fall too far behind in economy. He's about 1 T2 mex behind, plus he has no T2 land at the moment. So this is certainly problematic. Map control is even. Nexus, you can see, dropping the corner here, and has actually already given orders so to the engineers on board, which you might think, how can he do that? Basically, how you do that is, well, let's just see this raid first. This entire expansion is gonna die now. The factory will also go down. Everything. And the ACU is in the water here, looking pretty out of position, pretty scared. Meanwhile, quite a few units on the right hand side are not in position at all to defend here. We can see the hoplites doing good damage and using their speed. You can see how nice they are. They're basically the same speed as a mantis. makes them easy to mix in with your T1 units, and you can just run all around the map, run away from your opponents, get good fights by using the speed and the range, of course. Nice air scout overhead, providing perfect intel to try and clean up this raid, which looks like a mass donation. Some damage will be done, but certainly the ACU. Oh, Nexus also has the gun on his commander. I did see him retreating with some engineers assisting him earlier. Looks like he has finished that upgrade. ZLO half builds a factory before thinking probably need to shoot something instead. And Nexus has both of the corners. ZLO dropping the bottom left now with some units and, well, not many units. A Medusa, a Mantis, and an engineer. Interesting drop from Nexus. Probably dropping some units out of the base directly. T2P gen only started now. That's maybe a bit later than the Nexus intended, considering he's been at T2 for quite a while. Could have been slowly making that a while ago, but ooh, see, one Medusa shot brings the hoplites a lot lower than he would like, but still they live. These guys already have a veterancy, just killing every unit that comes out of the base. And I was going to explain how you give units orders that they accomplish after they're on a transport. Basically, you select the units, you hold shift, right click on the transport, you're still holding shift, give them orders to build things before they load on the transport. Then once they're on the transport, you select the transport and drop, and then do whatever with the transport. Actually, you don't even need to wait for the units to be on the transport to give the transport the orders. You can just do what you need with the units, select the transport, hold shift, and then drop them off. So it's all about shift. The best key, the most powerful key in the game, most powerful hotkey. T2 air now for Nexus. As soon as he finished that T2P gen, moves to T2 air. And actually, ZLO already has T2 air and has a couple of Corsairs out already. He's now paused a lot of land factories, probably for lack of mass, probably trying to put all of his mass into Corsairs at this moment, because Nexus has a huge lead at this point in terms of mass income and also in terms of map control. He is quite far ahead. You can see this dropped directly onto PD. And now we can see the convergence of all the land units from ZLO onto Nexus's gun commander. And here come the Corsairs as well. First one flies directly through the Inties. There's not that many of them, and it does get through and get a pass away. Not too much damage done though, to be fair. Nexus surviving quite well at this point. He's going to get a veterancy very soon. He's still on 8,000 HP. See all the Mantis running in, but with all these Rhinos, there's flax ensuring that the Corsairs will only get one pass. Two at the absolute best. And also the Inties as well, ensuring that. There's another few missiles directly to Nexus' face. And he's at 9,000 HP. We're really running out of units. The Rhinos are chewing up everything with the gun commander as well. And ZLO calls GG. So does Nexus. ZLO is still in the game. You can see he's not worried about anything else except attacking the commander. Now we have so many Rhinos. I mean, the land units are useless. Nexus can really not be killed at this point. ZLO control Ks. And Nexus takes game 1. Quite convincing, I would say. Certainly better opening from Nexus. Build seems pretty important on this map. Probably to do with the amount of reclaim you have at the opening. And the potential for raids in certain locations. And just generally being a very spam heavy map. So Nexus played it very well. And that's 1-0. So let's move to game 2. Let's see if ZLO can take this to a decider. Alright, game 2. And it's Nexus and ZLO. And Nexus is 1-0 in the lead. It's a best of 3, so ZLO has to win this to take us to a third map. Otherwise, Nexus will win in this group stage of Group B. Not the group stage of Group B, but Group B of the group stage. ZLO has to win. Nexus can take it 2-0 if he wins this. The map is a more from Chosen, the well-known FAF player of many years. And at this point a very prolific map maker. We may see other maps from him in this tournament as well. So, Cyberns again. Unsurprising, Nexus is really a total Cybern whore. It's true. He turned to the dark side at some point. ZLO has always been mainly a Cybern player. From before everyone was a Cybern player, so you know that's more forgivable. This build is strange, so we got Nexus doing normal stuff. Walk to the Hydro after you make factory 4 mexes, build, and then you have all your build power in the one place. Get air factory, land factory. Oh, this is the old I tried to build 5 mexes before I made my hydrocarbon, which you can't do. It's very important that you make 4 mexes after the factory and then rush the hydrocarbon. 5 mexes you cannot afford. So we probably got a stall there from Nexus. He paused the engineer making the mechs, finished the hydro, and then resumes his expansion. Oh, also getting some tree groups. Now, why is ZLO walking out of the base instantly? I'm not sure. He did make a couple of pigeons after the factory. He wasn't going for the pure hydro rush. He's also going second air and third land in opposition to second land, third air. So you can see 3 factories done already. Less than 2.5 for ZLO. Like we said last time, number of factories you have at the start is a pretty good indicator of the quality of your build on a land map. The lab achieves very little, a small bit of damage on the engineer, and also maybe distracted a mantis and a mole for a while. Now another lab coming through will be spotted by an air scout, and there is a mantis covering this position. Huge mass stall at this moment. AC finally decides to move. Looks like Nexus has missed horribly. That's some bad clicks right there. He's missed the, what is that, 350 mass there? That is a pretty bad mistake. 350 mass. not clicked on. Bit inaccurate there. It's gonna cost Nexus quite a bit, honestly. See ZLO clicking many times to make sure he gets the mass. It's important. Don't have to be so accurate if you click 5 times in the general area. ZLO adjusting his build. You can see he's building a factory, and he's like, well, you know what? Probably need some more power. So let's make some P-gens instead. ZLO ahead on reclaim. Probably because he did some reclaiming with the ACU. I think there are rocks here. More rocks here. Not sure. I'm still not sure why he left the base so early. Started walking forward. The mid is just not that important at the start, I would say. Clearly, this location is important to defend this. Oh, actually, oh, okay, here we go. I think ZLO Edge built a factory up here. I wonder. Did he walk to here? Oh, I see. Yeah, he must have walked in here, I guess, to build a factory. So that's why he walked so quickly with the ACU. Also, holy shit, that's a lot of mass, and he has idle engineers in the base here. Quite a few idle engineers. Could quickly build a factory there. But also, yeah, as you can see, it's power he needs at this point because, well, you need to power in factories, but when you have a basically break-even power income and a full mass bar, that means you need energy, because as soon as you start trying to spend the mass, you're not going to be breaking even on power anymore. That's for sure. So he adds P-gens before adding factories. Also, this hydro is going to be quite nice, quite important thing for him at this moment. And here comes Nexus with the raids in the most vulnerable location, this plateau that overlooks the base and has a large entrance into the middle of the map. So very vulnerable, and it's going down, and this may not be enough mantis to kill the factory though. Probably isn't, I would say, but it's gonna kill them all the mexes, that's for certain. And there's more reinforcements coming to potentially kill that factory as well. Meanwhile, over here we had a raid from Nexus which was stopped. Perhaps, I feel like these mantis were dropped here. Probably all these 6 units here were dropped. And ZLO did not manage to kill the engineers. You can see some bit of damage on one of them, but they are dead now. Oh, engineers dropped, and they immediately reclaimed that mantis. Quite nice from Nexus. And he gets a PD up ASAP in the left expansion. ZLO has walked to here by the looks of it. Needs to... oh, he maybe gave a bad order there. You can see there's some engineers all across the map are heading back to assist this land factory. Not the best order to give. He needs PD in this expansion for sure. You always need PD in these side expansions, especially, and also in these expansions, because again, I mean, they defend so well against mantis raids. Quite cheap. Give you so much time as well to react if your opponent is bringing Medusa along with him. You really need to defend your expansions with PD to allow you to prevent damage. And yeah, he does recognize that these engineers are going in the wrong places. He's expanding to these mexes now. PD here wouldn't hurt either. Bomber actually getting some damage done, but now goes down. The last mantis takes 1 bomb but dodges. This PD has started so late and there's no units here to help out. No mantis to maybe get the PD built faster. can see now he's sending this single mantis he has to go and add its build power, but oh, this is gonna hurt. And you can see this PD could have easily been built already, but ZLO let some stuff go idle, and or rather let that engineer go idle, and therefore loses the expansion. Otherwise it would be alive if the orders were given in time. Down here we can see that the factory did end up getting taken out with the reinforcements. Whoa, 279 mass killed on a mantis. Don't see that too often. 137. 324 HP mantis. 2 vets. Quite ridiculous actually. T2 Nexus from ZLO. Multiple upgrading at this moment. And T2 land. Meanwhile Nexus, no T2 Nexus. Had one at 20% and paused it. Also, he has T2 land as the ZLO, and Nexus is rushing the gun as fast as he can right now, pausing everything to make this happen, as ZLO is on his doorstep with the gun. ZLO now moving to the expansion. You can see without this PD, these mantis would kill a lot of stuff. As it is though, the mantis actually, looks like he's going to lose all the mantis if he doesn't react quickly. And also ZLO is in quite a dangerous position. He can't really allow this gun commander to get into range of him because he has no units to support him. So he has to run, he has to kill the mantis that are chasing him. He is getting really nice kills right now. Free kills basically. And he's winning air over Nexus commander. So you can see Nexus is trying to mess with the pathfinding, trying to block ZLO to allow his commander to get into range. If he doesn't get his commander into range, then ZLO is just getting free kills here. And it looks like it's exactly what's happening. Ooh, 2 hoplites at least went down there as well, which is very bad for Nexus. Okay, the right hand side still dead, but things... Oh, also raids here. A mirror raid up here, and there's still a mantis left hiding. Hoplite didn't catch him. There's no radars really in, well, okay, yeah, there's no radar back here. There's just radar in pretty good positions on the front, to be honest. But Nexus now with no units in support and a lot of mass dropped in the middle of the map, which he cannot control now. And it seems like Nexus has thrown away quite a few units, and I really hope he's not going to throw more units away here. Not another hoplite. Please no. Well, the hoplite actually may just have enough HP to survive, or maybe even enough speed to run past. Yeah, he runs past. He does lose HP. Not really the best thing to be doing, but somehow gets away with it. Oh, do you see that? A fade away. Double kill. Nexus on the front line is pushed back by ZLO. ZLO with 2 vets now. Nexus has not even 1 vet, below 5,000 HP. ZLO more than double the health of the enemy commander. And now we need to see, well, I mean, these T2 mexes are so nice for ZLO now. Once he can get back some map control, which he is doing, and also he can steal some reclaim at the front, those mexes are really going to put him in a good position. You can see Nexus struggling to catch up here. Also Nexus moving to T2 air. Okay, ZLO at the front line is perhaps in some danger, but again it gets more hoplite kills, and he's reaching for his 3rd veterancy. He is getting blocked extremely well by Nexus. You can see the mantis just in his way. There's the vet. Nexus is really all out, but seems to be more so he seems to be just throwing units away at the enemy commander in the hopes of killing him or forcing him away. But in the end, again, ZLO retreats and Nexus also has to retreat. Now we have rhinos coming out. It's definitely good to be making rhinos as well, not just hoplites. You can can see the hoplites, they require a lot more babysitting. Whereas you can see he can just send the rhinos up here, and when he meets the mantis, he's going to kill the mantis very efficiently. In the other case, we saw hoplites running up here, and we almost lost hoplites to mantis. You can see, look, mantis will do no damage. You don't have to worry. Wow, the lasers miss so often. It's really outrageous, but it's got to be fixed somehow. But wow, it looks like Nexus just won air. Probably shouldn't be too surprising as he's going to T2 air. That has to be a goal for him to be winning air, of course. ZLO with extra build power. He's adding hives, which is interesting. Not something you see too often in a 1 vs 1 game like this. You know, before the late game. Even in the late game, you don't often see hives, although perhaps we should. Nexus getting his 4th T2 mechs. There's been a T2 mechs here for quite a while for ZLO. So, kind of a weird place to make a T2 mechs, but there you go. A TML would kill that pretty quickly. ZLO is his airspace is being controlled. Nexus retreated and actually made stealth on his commander. Also 2 rhinos wasted into PD here. Not ideal. That's another big advantage of... Uh-oh. The inties found the flak, and then they found ZLO's inties, and there are no more. So maybe a few will get away as ZLO went a little bit idle with his inties there. Could have killed everything, but killed most of it anyway. And now we have Corsairs flying around, gunships everywhere, and ZLO will have to clean those up pretty quickly to avoid losing all his rhinos and things to air. Oh, the Medusa. Take out this rhino. PD, although it's very good, it can be overrun by mantis. You can see they actually are quite a good unit for shooting over walls, although, you know, the damage is not the best, but they can overrun PDs. Still, ZLO cannot hold the right side, and that's a 1,000 mass killed gunship already. Huge damage, extremely effective there. 2 gunships on the left getting taken out by small numbers of inties. This is the way you want to do it. You want to send just a couple of inties. You know, when the gunships are spread the inties. You don't want to be sending, you know, send your whole air force here to kill this gunship, and then to this one, and then across the map to this one. For one, you go out of fuel. 2, it'll take a lot longer to kill all the gunships. 3, it's way riskier, and you can get caught. Nexus will have a million years to react to where your air force is and get in behind them, potentially win air back, and then you can't kill the gunships you want to. So, you know, send 1 or 2 inties, maybe, probably not even 3 inties. 3 inties would be too much. A couple inties will kill a gunship pretty quickly in terms of how quickly Nexus will be able to react to those threats. And again, he can't have his air force everywhere defending, but you can have small bits of your air force everywhere trying to take out the gunships, as long as he's not next to his own anti-air. It's like some flak placed around the map is dying. We have MMLs at the front, we have stealth, we have the gun ACU. Still ZLO is ahead in terms of HP, still far ahead in terms of the damage he's inflicted. 1500 mass kill for Nexus, 5400 for ZLO. MMLs will quickly take out the PDs, and now they're already targeting the TMD before it even gets constructed. There's only one T1 engineer building that, not anymore. So ZLO doing very well. A couple of mantis have found their way to this expansion, but given that there's now T2 mexes, that will protect him against such a pitiful number of mantis. And then the mechs will regen. Beautiful. Oh, ZLO walking quite far forward into the midst of Nexus army. Nexus smells blood in the water, and actually so does ZLO. ZLO, bit of a panic move there, sent in a ton of hoplites and lost almost all of them. Well, yeah, he lost so many there. See, there's just dead hoplites everywhere. But I mean, ZLO gets away without too much trouble. Another disadvantage of the hoplites in a situation like this, you can't, I mean, sending them in, and you know, if you have Mantis or things like that and the commander's under threat, you just send all the Mantis in and the ACU in the opposite direction. If you do that with hoplites, they're going to die immediately, unfortunately. So they're not that helpful in those situations. Well, not helpful in the same way in terms of, you know, blocking units or things like that. Still, ZLO has complete control here. And somehow Nexus does finally have a bit more HP than the enemy commander, but it doesn't have the same units. You can see more hoplites, we have Flax, we have Rhino, we have MML. And this recon field is going to go to ZLO at the moment. This gets raided once again. The right hand side is still not available to ZLO. So there are some things that are in Nexus' favor, but the middle of the map is not an area that's in his favor. Factory gets rebuilt. So seeing a Medusa here is going to go down to a Mantis, I think, as it tries to raid some mexes. Looks like it will get a T1 mex kill. Oh no, it seems it missed. T3 land is up for ZLO and for Nexus now, so what units are they going to be making first? You know, there's something to be said for all the T3 options, really. At this point, something to be said for a Trebuchet first, a Brick first, a Loyalist first. ZLO is gone for, I see a Loyalist here. These are probably the first T3 units out. These hives are actually assisting the T2 factory, which it needs to be fixed. They should be, I mean, in terms of ZLO needs to fix that. Nexus has gone for bricks. At least a couple of bricks to begin with. Raid coming down the side here will be killed by fresh T2 units. And also some rhinos and things. Probably the T2 production is continuing for a bit too long here. We also have T2 air coming up with amazing adjacency to 3 T2 pigeons. It's pretty nice. And still ZLO controlling the front lines with his commander, who's now on 4 veterancy levels, 14,000 HP. Brick is dropped to the 3 mex expansion and defends it against incoming T2 units. We also have a T2 support factory producing units, which also defends it, as well as T1 PDs in the front. We have another one of these fights where Nexus is pushing and ZLO really suicided those units. I mean, that was quite a bad move there, sending those rhinos and things in. I'm not sure that was necessary at all, to be honest. So that was, yeah, donation there for sure to Nexus getting back in the game fund. But ZLO with 100 mass income now. Nexus slightly behind that. The hives are assisting the T2 air HQ now. have a nice T2 army over here to defend. Still no PD, but T2 army. T3 units are building on this side with some rhinos in support. Maybe some flak mix in there would be good, but this looks like it will go down. Oh, upgrading T2 factory. This is going to T3. Now that is risky. To make a T3 support factory in that position strikes me as very suspect. I mean, you can see it's the furthest point of Nexus control, the most exposed position. I mean, here this is an exposed position, but yeah, this seems quite risky. I mean, yeah. Oh, ZLO wasting some air units there. They just auto-attacked the enemy inties that are parked too close, I guess. And we have T3 mobile anti-air out. That's quite an expensive investment. We have 2 trebuchets, which are not firing at anything right now. We have a frontline trebuchet, T3 land production here. And yeah, here come the T3 units. And there's a T2 mech here as well. PDs are pretty good versus loyalists, but not that good. I mean, you're going to need a lot of them. Now when the units go down, the PD will be targeted. Okay, we do lose a loyalist, 2 loyalists in fact. He needs to focus on the PDs here. Bomber comes in, says, this is how it's done. Target the PDs. And yeah, so much stuff dying here. And if this factory goes down without even producing 1 T3 unit, that is such a massive investment that's just thrown away. And another question is, now that it's lost, now that he's lost that expansion, how does he regain that? I don't see how he does. There goes some inties. Trebuchet's returning fire. We don't have any stealth. We could have a shield here. Could have a T2 engineer, would have been nice. Get a shield, and then the Treb war is a given at that point. Who's going to win that? If one player has a shield and the other doesn't, SpaceU just has been a beast. An absolute beast. 11,000 mass killed now. We see dead bricks on the field. I'm assuming the commander had a part to play in those. And now the left side, now that this position has collapsed, those loyalists will move on, and all those rhinos and things are moving on to this expansion where bombers seem to have already killed T2 Nexus? Question mark. And this expansion where we have, once again, no defenses and 2 T2 Nexus, so these are for sure going down. Look at the DPS on these guys. And this looks very bad for Nexus now. It also has a 10% T3 max, of course. That's just Nexus, I guess. Looks like we had a brick attack here, killing T2 mexes. We have rhinos here. Maybe the brick just walked the whole way through here, actually. Looking at it, that could have happened. We also did T2 mexes here. Interesting position for these bricks to find themselves in. There goes one of them. And Nexus just pushing, walking directly into the ACU, trying to get a draw or something, but he knew it was doomed already. And that's that. ZLO brings it to 1-1. Pretty good performance from ZLO there. Some questionable moves from Nexus for sure. A lot of failed attacks on the commander of ZLO. 15k mass killed at the end, by the way. 181 kills. Not bad. And yeah, Cybran especially, support factories, very squishy. Look at this, 5,500 HP. And if we select it, you can see it's valued 1,400 mass put into that thing. Plus, there is a brick almost finished in this one. You can see there's 564 mass. That's from the dead brick inside, the first unit that was being constructed. So, huge investment to lose with no return, basically. I mean, the T2 factory made some units probably, but no return on the T3 investment, and also lost expansion. Maybe just making PDs here, shield things, and having your T3 production in safer positions is better in my opinion. I mean, if you're making loyalists, then they can run across the map so fast that, you know, you don't gain that much. Probably add more risk than reward building stuff here. If you're making bricks, and maybe you can use transports instead. Or maybe you make the loyalist because you want the speed and you're just forced into it. But yeah, well played from ZLO. Let's check out the third game and see who'll take the best of 3 series win in this Group B match. Okay, here we go. Game 3. In the best of 3 in Group B. ZLO and Nexus Cybern again. Well, that's just how it goes with some players. And with some maps. I mean, on a more, I would say, Cybern. It's not a dominant pick, I would say, in my opinion. But on the first and third maps, perhaps. We have Cobalt Valley here. It's a 10x10 map, but with so much dead space around it, it gets added to the ladder as a 5x5 map, which is reasonable, sensible perhaps. ZLO makes it P-gen after the factory. He makes all of his mexes. First engineer to the hydrocarbon. ZLO, excuse me, Nexus, slightly different factory. 3 mexes. First engineer to the hydro, ACU assisting, second engineer makes the mex. So ZLO gets his mex. His 4 mexes a bit faster. He's idle. Oh, he's not going to be happy. It's never a good start to a game when you walk to the hydro and then just stand there, chilling, idling. Happens to everyone, but it's yeah, always a bad feeling when you spot that. Also, a quick lab from ZLO, which I missed. Actually, that may have been his first unit out. At latest, it was his second unit, I would say. Should have caught that. Oh, he's run straight into the engineer. The engineer reacted a little late. Oh, what a save by Nexus. Threw up a P-gen immediately in the exact position to block the shot. The last shot of the lab. The lab was going to get the kill there. But excellent block from Nexus with the P-gen to defend the engineer. And now he can, most importantly, immediately get this 150 mass from the reclaim. And also expand, hopefully, without getting raided. Although there is a follow-up coming his way. And with an engineer at 5 HP, you can be pretty confident that you can catch that guy. And with an air scout, he can also use that to guide him past this mantis and towards the engineer. But first, the air scout is going to help the bomber out. Bomber's going to be spotted quickly and not have any targets at the moment. There's no engineers here. Also, Nexus with full land spam at this point. ZLO has switched to engineers from that air factory. Bomber moves in, drops a bomb on the head of an unsuspecting engineer, immediately drops another one onto the engineer in the base, and now he's going to hit the expanding engineer. Even if he dodges, he gets bumped as well by the Mantis. The Mantis also dies in a single bomb. A single bombing run. ZLO going to lose his engineer here. ZLO may also lose the engineer in this position. You can see a shift G order issued to group these Mantis extremely tightly, which is actually really dangerous for ZLO, not for Nexus at the beginning of the game, because there's not going to be any Medusa around to punish that kind of behavior. So you end up with 3 Mantis in a very tight position, and that's a lot of concentrated DPS. It'll make the Mantis attack the same unit because they're so close together. The same unit will come into range of all of them, so they'll like naturally target fire. And you'll also be able to have more Mantis firing at once at the one unit. So you'll see Nexus especially, I think he's the main player who does this a lot. But in the early game, it's really, this shifty stuff is pretty powerful. Ooh, the bomber goes down, gets caught by the anti-air. Nexus is raiding everywhere. This is you can see, I mean, Nexus took some damage from the bomber, but now, I mean, you can't say he's taken more damage than ZLO has. I mean, ZLO lost this engineer, lost this mech, some more units here. This was slowed down. We lost engineers in this position, and in this position this mech is dead. And ZLO taking bad fights here. Bad fights like this are just game losing. ZLO's already in a situation where he has less units because he went for air first. Or he should have a few less units, at least. And then you take a bad fight like this here, and now you can see he's completely overrun on the right hand side. The left hand side, this is potentially a very good fight for him. He did lose a Jester in there, which, you know, makes it less profitable. But yeah, this is a lot of reclaiming happening. Unsurprisingly, he needs that mass, but his units have to be sent to the right now. If he pushes, can he get here ahead of the PD being completed? I'm not sure. Can he get here ahead of reinforcements arriving at the PD location? It's kind of doubtful at this point. So probably that good fight is all he's going to get on the left side, plus the reclaim. So he needs to reclaim the right hand side quickly because he's falling behind, having less map control. Only now retaking this mech. It looks like he's going to get raided again. Yep, there goes the engineer. And on this side you can see he's using the shift G again to make sure his units are really close together. The ACUs are just walking in circles in middle, I've been noticing. So like Nexus takes this mix, and then he took this, and then he came down here, and then it's going across here, and then ZLO is doing the same circuit, or I don't get it, but looks like Nexus will finally decide to, you know, build a factory or something instead. Not sure building a factory is a good idea with an ACU in the middle of the map, but yeah, he changes his mind, starts shooting his opponent. Left side looks like Nexus has a similar number of units, maybe slightly less because there's a couple of scouts and an anti-air mixed in here. But what'll a micro be like? Well, they just run headlong into each other. Incredible. At this point you probably start target firing, or you just run away. So both of them run away from each other. Just deposit mass there, which will become important later. The right hand side still, Nexus continues to reinforce here, while sending just enough units in this location. Oh, this is another very good fight for Nexus, and you can see ZLO running. Nexus brought in more reinforcements. Again, it just looks like Nexus has more units available to him at this point. That's a lot of factories. 3, 6, 8 land factories in the base versus 3, 6. Oh, we have 8 as well, but the unit count is not the same. So we can see 56 Mantis, some anti-air and moles. 38 Mantis. Let's go to the kills. Oh, 1.6. This is the kill to loss ratio. So that's huge. Huge for Nexus. And he's rushing a PD here. Another thing to note, remember I said that how good the Shift G is because of how concentrated the DPS is, and they'll start shooting the same unit as it comes into range. Well, the same applies to Mantis who are assisting things as they try to build. They bunch up so tightly that they actually are in the best possible formation for fighting when they're not against any Medusa, basically, or other T1 artillery, or, you know, an ACU's overcharge. So guaranteed those trades were good for Nexus when he was building that PD. Now, if there was a couple of Medusa there, he could have taken insanely bad trades, but I don't think ZLO has made a single Medusa the whole game. I don't think Nexus has either, and now ZLO has been found in the middle of the map. All of the Medusa, sorry, the Mantis of Nexus have been sent to the middle of the map. ZLO is already below 5000 HP, Nexus almost on full HP. ZLO is surrounded, he's trying to get around the mountain here to hide from the shots. He is hiding from the ACU pretty effectively. Peekaboo. I love that. He comes around the corner, just gets the death blow. That was nice. And Nexus wins. Now, Nexus is strong on this map, I gotta say. And clearly his full land and then later air, just to, you know, have that option. Not get abused by air too much later on, but, you know, he soaked up the damage from the initial bomber and then did more of his own damage with the land advantage, and really just dominated. Very good raiding happening, better fights from his units, better trades, much better trades, and that's it. Superior unit usage. And when you have a few more units, it gets a lot easier to get the really good trades as well. So well played from Nexus, and ZLO. Nexus wins 2-1 in this best of 3 series of Group B. So that's all from me. Oh, T2 mechs from ZLO in the base, and his ACU in the center of the map with no unit support. Okay, well, a good player's gonna punish you for that, of course, and that's what happened. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys.